I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Kelly, and I am back with you guys here for another video. I would do the whole spiel, but like it seems like my videos, I'm just not getting any love from YouTube anymore. So if you're out there and if you're listening to this video, I thank you so much. Thank you for being a friend to this channel. And if by some miracle you are finding my video for the first time and seeing this, if you'd like to join, I would very much love to have you. Other than that, guys, yeah, I guess I will just continue making these videos, for the 10 people who get to see them or whatever, but I'm happy to have you regardless, and I enjoy doing these for the most part, so I wanted to bring you guys another round of stories. So we're going to get into some very, it's kind of like a weird news segment in a way, but this one I call It Was the Best of Times, It Was the Worst of Times, because we have some very polar opposite type stories today. So we're going to go over, we're going to do a little tit for tat. Like one really bad, like the world is ending. We should just all, start prepping for the end of the world, zombie apocalypse. And then I'm going to bring you another story that will give you hope. It will lift you up. It will make you feel like everything is going to be okay. So we're going on a roller coaster ride, guys. And if you're in for it, strap on your seatbelt and let's get into it, guys, because we're going there. We are taking it there. Okay, guys, have y'all seen this video? It has been going around the interweb, spreading like wildfire, and it's extremely upsetting. I will just say that. This man, if you can even call him that, on the subway, is completely harassing and verbally assaulting this young family for what looks like no apparent good reason whatsoever. I mean, there's never a good reason to talk to anyone like this, unprovoked. But let me just let you guys be the judge here. If you haven't seen this already, just prepare yourself, because it is maddening.
Faggot ass Caribbeans back to them motherfucking there. Take them back to Europe with y'all.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, to their Caribbean, African shit.
Ah! And nobody's doing anything.
Gay ass gorilla looking. Shut up, your ugly body. Nasty ass mutating, permutating, corrugating, etiolating, skin. Shut up, your body don't even last long enough. I'm gonna look younger than him by the time.
Who is he talking to? None of them are engaging him. You can see this guy in the background is looking at him crazy, but is not going to say anything. This guy over here is pretending to be asleep. This is the utter state of our country. While we have this man here who has obviously some sort of issue inside of his own head. I don't know who he thinks he's talking to. No one's even looking at him or engaging with him. Well, he just yells, slurs, and just completely berates this young family for no reason whatsoever. And there is a young child who looks to be about maybe 3 or 4 in between them while he's doing this. I mean, what kind of worlds are we living in where this can be allowed, where none of these guys say anything? And I understand, like, the dad probably didn't want to even go there with this man, because I'm sure his blood was boiling, and I'm sure he was feeling like he wanted to just, get up and like destroy this guy. But in this day and age, you cannot even engage with people like this, because you don't know if this man's got a knife, he's going to stab you, he's going to shoot you. You don't know if you're going to get arrested yourself for, engaging with him physically. I mean, it's just like, it's a very frightening world, and he is there with his child, so he probably doesn't want to get into a physical altercation in front of his young child. But no one's even trying to like step in and be like, hey, you need to settle down, like trying to break this up, trying to do some sort of like, you know, negotiating or some sort of like smoothing things over. None of that. People are just watching out of the corner of their eye while this man verbally assaults these people.
My age. I don't care about them ugly ass kids in your race. Shut up. Fucking plastic ass body. Little debilitated, enervated, emasculated, feeble, incapacitated, indisposed, emaciating, attenuating, tenuous body. I don't care about you. Shut up, you white monkey. You a dog in this country. You're a fucking dog. You're nothing over here. You are a dog. Shut up. I'm Black American. I'm over you.
Oh my God. Y'all, that made me so flippin' mad. I mean, what a piece of shit that guy is. And it just like goes to show you that like the racism that is spewed from some of these people. No, Russell Brand, I know you're fixing to try to interrupt me and I don't want to hear you. So just the utter racism that is spewed from people like this who think that, what do you think about white people? That we're oppressing you somehow? I don't even understand something like this. This level of hatred for someone else based on the color of their skin, I could never understand it. Because I am not even, you know, I don't even have that in me in any level to express this much hate, disdain, and just ugliness towards people that are sitting there with a child. This man is spitting all over this family. And it's just really disgusting, honestly, if you ask me. And the fact that no one tried to intervene. And then, I don't know where the video goes after this. They stopped filming, you know, of course. But hopefully he got hit by a subway or something, you know, after he got off this one. Hopefully he walked into the tracks of another, because that's all we can really hope for. So let's move on to the next thing, guys. This will hopefully lift you guys up. This was a mass shooting that was actually stopped by a good Samaritan. So let's watch this video and we'll get into the details of the article in a second. So you see a guy walking into an establishment, or trying to. He's got a gun there in his hand, and he has this flashlight. So he looks suspicious off the top. And luckily, there's the security guard who's standing off to the side who notices him immediately and decides that he's going to intervene. And thank God for men like this. I mean, this just goes to show you that, like, if you look at this video and you look at the last video, all of the shit that we spew about toxic masculinity and how it needs to stop, or we need to, like, you know, beat this out of our men to where they can't step in and be the protectors that they are, it's bullshit. And if anything, we need to reverse course on that like yesterday, because otherwise what we're going to have is what we had in the last video, a subway full of cucked men pretending to be asleep, while you have some crazy person shouting down a family with a young child who won't say anything or try to even intervene in any sort of way. But if we try to reverse course, maybe we'll get more people like this guy who has the alpha male energy, the energy that we like to see, you know, the protector energy, the American man who's going to take action energy. Yeah, we need more of that, please. Thanks. And he fights with this guy. He's like, bitch, you're not going in here. And he's wearing a devil mask. Look at his getup. Look at this freak.
Everything, a lot of things are fuzzy because I got hit in the head quite a few times by
oh my God.
The gun, and he also had a flashlight as well in the other hand. And I almost went unconscious.
Yes.
But I kept myself.
Yes.
I wasn't going to let this happen. I was not going to let him win.
Down.
He was not going to hurt
slob.
nobody.
You know, it's the people like this who don't wear belts, and then when they get into the slightest scuffle and their pants are falling down around their ankles, you are disgusting. And go to hell, please. But thank God for this brave man, and he looks like an older gentleman. And this is what it is, guys. This is what we're left with. We don't have any millennial or Gen Zers who are stepping in because they've all been, cucked by feminists in this country who have just whipped them into shape to become the soy boys that feel like their masculinity is toxic. So now we have to rely on the boomers and the Gen Xers who are going to be aging, and we have to look to them, guys. So this is what we have here. But thank God that he was there and was able to thwart this man's plans to go into this club where 200 people were and shoot it up.
There's no question in my mind that had it not been for the brave men you see standing next to me, that we could have been here discussing a mass shooting in the city of Tampa.
So I just want to show y'all the freak that was responsible. Look at this guy. Michael Rudman, okay? He is facing charges after they apprehended him for wearing his freak-ass mask that he was wearing, devil mask, okay? And he had, like, apparently, like, words written on his arm. I can't remember what they said. They were, like, he had, like, killer or something.
He tried to enter a gentleman's club while armed. Police say he was wearing a
red and black devil mask with the words kill and dark one on his arms. So he was up to absolutely no good. Look at his pants falling down immediately, sir. How do you go in there with no belts and a plan to shoot up the club? You're just piss poor planning. You're obviously, not prepared for your mission. And it showed in this instance. Thank God, for this man who ended up saving the day. And for your idiotic, lack of intelligence and just utter disdain for yourself and your own, life. Because who else would be so stupid as to go up in this place with a gun and a devil mask with words written on your arms and no fucking belt? Okay, you're a dumbass. So that's what we have here, guys. This was the feel-good story, by the way. I'm getting all worked up, but I love it. I mean, this is really good. This is what we need to see. I thought initially from watching this video, this was a younger guy. So it kind of, not depresses me, but it kind of, it's a good and a bad thing, I guess. Because, yes, it's great that somebody stepped in, but where are our young men? Guys, we have to do something. So, what do you guys think? So now let's get into, this is the bad story, but this might actually be a more uplifting than anything we've seen yet. Let's get into a little poem, guys. Let's break up the monotony and let's let the greatest orator in the history of our country, guys, let's let Joe Biden tell it. He's going to read us a little poem, guys. Are y'all ready? Okay.
Richard Blanco returned to a poem he wrote from the second inaugural Barack and me. A poem, today. It says, and always one moon like a silent drum tapping at every rooftop.
Oh, yeah?
And every window on every county. Countries. I'm going to start this over again.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting so intimidated by being here.
He's getting intimidated by being there. By being where? What are you intimidated of? Oh my God.
And always one moon, like a silent drum, tapping on every rooftop and every window of one county. All of us facing the stars. Hope, a new constellation, waiting for us to map it, waiting for us to name it together.
Wow. Richard. I mean, just beautiful, guys. What a beautiful wordsmith he is, right? I mean, there's never been anyone better, honestly. Two things this man can do is sniff some good hair and read some good words. I mean, we all know that to be true. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because it really was a touching moment. And I think we could all use a little bit of, beautiful poetry in our lives every now and then. So there it was. And let's move on to our next thing. This is the good news story, as compared to that. Matt Gaetz gets his showdown with the ATF. And what is Matt Gaetz up to these days? He's doing great work. He really is. I very much enjoy Matt Gaetz. He was accused of some things. He got completely exonerated of those things. He got proven to be absolutely vindicated, and ever since then he has just been going ham against these people who tried to do the same thing they did to that wheelchair guy. Who was it? I forgot his name already, but y'all know who I'm talking about. The wheelchair guy who got caught humping his brother, and then they like booted him out of Congress. So they do this with people. They try to like create scandals around people that they want out of the Congress and of the party. So it's a total psyop move, but they couldn't get Matt Gaetz, and they hate that for themselves. And I love it for us though, because he really is a great force for the people in Congress, and you can think what you want about him, but he is drafting and filing legislation to eliminate the ATF. I mean, my God. If that's not the most beautiful thing I've ever heard, I don't know what is. He said, ATF's new rule criminalizing pistol braces is a brazen and unlawful attempt to usurp congressional authority. Nobody voted for the ATF, although I know a lot of people who would vote against them if they could. In fact, Congress should abolish the ATF. It's beautiful. The ATF cannot be trusted. It needs to go. We need to abolish the ATF before they abolish our Second Amendment rights, he said on the House floor last month. There is no timeline where the ATF under any administration would become an ally to gun owners. It needs to go. We need to abolish the ATF before they abolish our Second Amendment rights. I love that idea. And, you know, I was doing some digging, and I was watching some videos. You know, they drug in the ATF director for these congressional hearings that they just had, and they were questioning them about the most recent ruling that they tried to implement about the arm braces for the pistols, like the pistol arm braces that they are trying to, like he was saying, basically make a law against firearms, which is illegal. You know, we have a Second Amendment right in this country, and it should not be infringed upon as per our Constitution, but the ATF is going to try every step of the way to do that. And they have been a bogus organization, the worst alphabet agency, in my opinion. Honestly, I mean, and that's saying a lot because they're all terrible. But the ATF is the worst because it is an illegal organization, in my opinion, because it deals with regulating firearms, which is really at the core of it, you know, a principle that is absolutely against our Constitution and should not even be legal. So from the very viewpoint of that alone, why did this agency ever even exist? It absolutely is antithetical to like the way our country is set up. I mean, whose idea was this? And the fact that we've let this go on and on and on, it's truly amazing. So let's get into some of the footage, guys, because this was great stuff. Matt Gaetz moves, and then this was another thing before we get into the footage. He also moved to cut funding for massive new FBI headquarters complex. He cited malfeasance at the FBI Washington field office, and he announced an effort to halt spending on a new headquarters for the Bureau. And I'd love to see that too. The measure, FBI Washington Field Office House Arrest Act, calls for the House to halt all spending allocated towards the FBI's new proposed headquarters outside the District of Columbia, according to a press release. The Pelosi-led House voted to allocate $375 million for a new facility as part of a massive December 2020 omnibus bill. There are still good men and women in the FBI whose task and purpose are to defend our country, but the FBI's weaponized Washington field office is rotten to the core, Gaetz said in a statement. Through our investigation in the select subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government, we have uncovered extremely disturbing testimony from FBI whistleblowers that the Washington field office is targeting Americans who oppose their corrupt political agenda. The cancer at the Washington field office has metastasized so large that the entire body is in critical condition. Gifting the FBI a new headquarters larger than the Pentagon would condone, reinforce, and enable their nefarious behaviors to levels we have never seen before. I love the work you're doing, Matt Gaetz. I appreciate you so much. So I support both of those measures. And not only should we defund that complex being built, we should defund that agency as well. So let's get into a few of the videos. Or wait, I want to look at Matt Gaetz first. Let's get into him first. Okay, here we go, friends. Whoops.
This is Mr. Gaetz for his 5 minutes.
The Nonpartisan Government Accountability Office issues a report in June of 2016, firearms data. The ATF did not always comply with the Appropriations Act restriction and should better adhere to its policies. Mr. Wilcox, you're the witness the Democrats have invited here today. Are you familiar with that report?
I am.
And does the fact that the ATF broke the law concern you?
The report, I believe, supported ATF's action.
So he asked, does the fact that the ATF broke those rules, the procedures that he just laid out, does the fact the ATF broke those procedures, like, does that concern or does that worry you? The answer should have been no. It should have automatically been, it should have been like, yes, it does disturb me. So let's rewind it, actually. I want to see exactly the words he said, okay?
And should better adhere to its policies. Mr. Wilcox, you're the witness the Democrats have invited here today. Are you familiar with that report?
I am.
And does the fact that the ATF broke the law concern you?
So the answer there would be yes. It is concerning that the ATF broke the law. Absolutely. I'm concerned with that. But let's see what his answer actually is.
The report, I believe, supported ATF's action in cataloging records to stop crime.
I'll read from it. It says, a technical defect allows ATF agents to access data, including purchaser data, beyond what ATF policy permits.
Wow.
Do you take any umbrage with that conclusion?
ATF has been collecting out-of-business records pursuant to a law signed by Ronald Reagan, and President Trump digitized more records than any other president.
I don't care who did.
Look at his smug little fucking face. Pull up. I don't even want to speak on it, guys. ATF, they make me sick. And look at his smug little dirty face. You want to bring up Reagan and Trump because you're a partisan hack who can't be accountable for what your agency has done? And you can't even say that it is wrong that the ATF has broken the laws of this country and infringed upon our Second Amendment right? Disgusting.
Did it. I'm just worried about the impact on my citizens. And I would acknowledge there may be Republican presidents who didn't do enough in the 80s to protect our gun rights.
They're
but
not being questioned.
On this finding, the ATF had to delete 252 million records, didn't they?
So this is a tool that's helped solve 50% of crime.
Wait. Did they have to delete 252 million records?
What I know about this tool is that it's a
That's how I'm
crime-fighting
asking
tool.
you. Did they have to delete? You said you're aware of the report. Is that conclusion correct? They had to delete 252 million records.
I'm not aware of that line, but what I'm aware of is the tool.
Well,
crime-fighting tool.
I'll represent to you that that's what had to happen. The fact that the government collected 252 million records that was beyond the law, beyond policy, never approved according not to me, not to my fellow Republicans, but to the GAO. Should that be concerning to us, that scope of records being collected?
ATF's collection of out-of-business records was fully complying with the law.
That's not what the GAO said, so you disagree with the GAO report.
Well, there's 2 points they made. One is the collection of out-of-business paper records that FFLs keep. The second piece was the collection of electronic records that FFLs keep. And what the GAO said was the electronic records were not being converted sufficiently. And that's what ATF
so that's why they had
fixed
to delete
become
them.
in.
That's absolutely disturbing. So just in case y'all aren't tracking, because it's sometimes hard to follow all this stupid ass shit that goes on in these Senate hearings, because they just try to literally tiptoe around their way of answering these questions. They're basically saying that the forms, and if you guys ever have bought a gun, like you know what I'm talking, you know exactly what I'm talking about, the FFL forms that you fill out to purchase a gun and that are supposed to be kept on file at the location in which you purchase that gun. This is not a form that goes to the government. This is not a form because there is no gun registry in this country, as there should never be. It's not up to the it's not up to the government to keep track of what guns people own, how many, what kind, and why. It's not the government's business, and it never should be. So the fact that they are going and acquiring these records from FFL dealers, as he just outlined in his testimony, is disturbing. It's absolutely disturbing.
Because they had gone beyond their authority. You see, that's the concern of my constituents. When they go beyond their authority, and you may find those things virtuous, but no one elected you. They elected us to make the laws, and when we make the laws and they don't follow them, then people's rights get diminished. Another area is this issue of the arm braces. Now, in Mr. Wilcox's testimony, he says that an arm brace makes a weapon more powerful. Mr. Bosco, you know a lot about arm braces, don't you?
I do.
Do arm braces make firearms more powerful?
They do not. They do not.
Does it concern you that The witness that the Democrats brought would make such a claim that is obviously...
The witnesses that the Democrats brought is a piglet, manlet idiot with no chin, and obviously an entitled sense of self-importance, because he's sitting there with that look on his face, as we just outlined that he had. And I have I once also too had guns with arm braces on them. Tragically, they were lost in boating accidents, and yeah, I can contest that whenever I first heard about this ruling, I was extremely pissed off. And I know firsthand that shooting guns with arm braces, stabilizing arm braces, are no different than shooting them any other way. And all of these rules that they try to put in place, the same thing as with bump stocks, are just encroachments upon people's civil liberties. They are just slow little power grabs. It's basically like a tug of war, and they are inching every single time they try to make a new rule. An unelected bureaucrat, like he said, tries to enforce their authority, their own personal beliefs, onto the American people who never voted for them. It is an inch forward onto your rights, and eventually it's not going to be about guns, because they will have gone as far as they can go. Eventually it will become an encroachment on you. And if you don't think that's true, well, I don't know what to tell you. So this was also something I wanted to get into. At the same hearing, this guy, it was the one who was just speaking. I'm not going to play his testimony because I don't want to run too far on this. But I wanted to get into this guy down here's testimony. Let's see. This one and then the other guy too. So let's get into this one first.
In this poster behind me, you see two guns. Mr. Option A or option B make you a felon under ATF's proposed rule?
Well, option B in 120 days will make you a felon.
Do you think the common American citizen would reasonably be able to distinguish which is the firearm of a felon versus a law-abiding citizen?
Well, that's the whole point here. I mean, this is what I was talking about. Again, I have no disagreement with Ms. Jackson-Lee. I have no disagreement with my colleague with respect to what the ATF does, but this is not what the ATF should be doing. The ATF is making a rule, okay, and they're saying that this rule has criminal implication. It circumvents the legislative process. That's what's happening here. All I'm saying, and all I have been saying, is that ATF should not be making laws. That's up to the people up in front of me.
What makes this firearm behind me illegal under the ATF proposed rule?
Well, essentially what they're saying, after 10 years of saying the opposite, is that the piece of plastic attached to the back of that firearm, which is a piece of rubber with two flaps and a strap, is now a stock similar to the one in A.
Does the arm brace make the firearm more...
Ridiculous. So, if you guys don't know, I'm just going to quickly explain it to you. This one at the top is a stock, what you would consider a stock, which would, this part go on your shoulder and is not in any way like movable. You cannot adjust this in any way. It just sits right up there, and then you would shoot this rifle as, you know, intended. This gun down here, which is being obstructed by his big peanut head, actually has an adjustable like lever somewhere, probably down here, and it can be moved forward or extended backwards. And then there are also, as he described, straps on the side where a veteran or someone who has a disability can place his arm inside of the straps and then be able to shoot that gun instead of propping it up against his shoulder as you would normally shoot a rifle. Then the straps would allow it to brace, would allow the gun to be braced onto the man or whoever's shooting the gun's forearm, and would be able to then shoot that gun. Whereas normally if it was the other way around, he wouldn't be able to, because he wouldn't be able to hold up the rifle against his shoulder due to physical handicaps or anything like that. So that's what we're talking about here, guys. We're talking about a little lever that can adjust the stock on the end of the gun and some little strappy straps, okay? That is going to be the difference between what the ATF wants to make illegal and what they want to let you have, okay? We'll let you have the stocks for now that don't adjust, okay? And then you could prop that gun up on your shoulder. But in about 10 years, we're coming for that too. So that is the slight, those are the slight differences, okay? And then the last thing we're going to play about this, I could go on and on, y'all. I need to like dedicate a whole like deep dive into the ATF because
by the
it
ATF.
really pissed me the fuck off.
These individuals, oftentimes in the firearm, who have been caught up in studying the law and policy of arms for over a decade. But I think most important for this hearing, an attorney working in the Second Amendment space. I'm a child of immigrants, and I guess in following their lead, I decided to do a job that most Americans didn't want to, and that's protecting fundamental rights. I've been studying the law and policy of arms for over a decade. But I think most important for this hearing is my experience representing individuals and small businesses who have been caught up in some of the flip-floppery that ATF has engaged in. Representing individuals and small businesses that have had their lives shattered, their employees left jobless because of, frankly, innocent omissions that were characterized as intentional misconduct by the ATF. These individuals, oftentimes in the firearms industry, are employers with less than 15 employees. That's the majority.
And so he's describing basically the ATF's thuggery, and as he so eloquently put it, flip-floppery, where basically what they did at Ruby Ridge, you know, what they did to Randy Weaver when they went onto his property and tried to victimize him, or they actually did victimize him. I mean, they shot and killed 2 of his family members and tried to shoot and kill him after extorting him and trying to blackmail him into working as their secret undercover agent, all due to a clerical error and a small little detail like an inch of a barrel being too short. Things like that, regulations like that they take it upon themselves to take those small little errors, or maybe, you know, an inch worth of regulation or 2 straps on the side of a stock of a rifle, and they go and ruin your life. But yet they can then turn around and do things like Waco. They can do things like Ruby Ridge and let's not forget Oklahoma City, or I don't know, that had really nothing. I mean, what does that have to do with anything? I don't even know why that just came to my head. The ATF is a group of thugs. They are a gang of terrorists in this country, and they need to be eliminated, the entire agency. And I don't mean actually eliminated, like taken out of the world. I mean they need to all be fired and really sent to, purgatory. Like, an island, basically Guantanamo Bay, if you will. That's what I mean by purgatory. Let's send them to Guantanamo Bay. I think they deserve it at this point, because the fact that they do this to citizens, and like as he was just describing, small business owners and people who make small clerical errors, but Hunter Biden lied on his gun form and nothing happened to him. Yeah, it just goes to show you where we're at, guys, in this country. So let's move on, and I want to show you guys a more serious country, guys, and what they're actually choosing to do. And you guys let me know, is this good or bad? So Uganda passed some legislation, guys. Let's hear what they had to say.
We will have our morals. We will protect our children. And we are making this law. We are making this law for ourselves. We are making this law for our children. We are making this law for the children of our children. This country will stand firm. And once it passed, I can tell you, Madam Speaker, we are going to reinforce the law enforcement officers to make sure that homosexuals have no space in Uganda.
Well, they seem pretty happy with themselves. I mean, whatever, if that's what they want to do. I mean, they have a country and they can do that, right? Well, not according to our government, guys. Not if the U.S. has anything to say about it. No, they don't. So let's get into this other article from CNN, and they're going to be discussing what this legislation actually details and what it actually does, because a lot of people were very angry and upset about this and screaming that Ugandans were a bunch of white supremacist bigots, guys, because they want to outlaw gays. You know, they just, people just want to love each other, right? I mean, my God, why can't we all just love each other? But let's hear what they had to say.
But even identifying, I want to read this section of this new law that's now going to President Museveni to assent to. A person commits the offense of homosexuality if the person holds out as lesbian, gay, transgender, a queer, or any other sexual or gender identity that is contrary to the binary categories of male and female. So even identifying as non-binary could be legal in Uganda. And the debate itself was 6-7 hours that was sometimes homophobic, often using dangerous rhetoric. And I want to give you a slice of what MPs were talking about on the floor.
A homosexualist is the one who protects, promotes, defends. So let it be life imprisonment. For whoever recruits our children, for whoever gets involved in making sure that our children are involved into this.
These people should be castrated. Yes. So despite her being sexually woman, she defends herself as a man. I find it very vague.
To be clear, homosexuality is illegal in more than 30 of Africa's 55 nations, but this law in Uganda goes much further than any other law on the continent, probably anywhere in the world, and includes the new crime of aggravated homosexuality when it's with a child or somebody with a disability or in an altered state, and that attracts a death penalty. And it's unlikely that President Museveni wants to assent to it because he's called homosexual people in the country deviants. Listen.
The homosexuals
Not deviants.
are deviations from normal.
Oh my God.
The Western countries should stop wasting the time of humanity by trying to impose their practices on other peoples.
Oh God. Well, he said what the fuck he said. Yeah, guys. I mean,
one of the biggest tournaments in the U.S. tennis.
I do. Excuse me, ma'am. No, I do love a man with a good, strong opinion and a willingness to stand up for what he believes in and stand up for the kids and the utter debauchery that goes along with some of these ideologies. Now, obviously, I don't necessarily agree with like outlawing gay and lesbian people. I have my own opinions on the morality of that and having to do with my religion and my faith, but as far as a legal matter goes, I just don't know about that. I mean, I think that Uganda can do whatever it is that they want to do in their own country. They're a sovereign nation after all, and it seems like Africa is ahead of the curve. They said no thank you, don't bring that fuck shit over here, America and the West. 33 out of the 55 countries on the continent of Africa have some laws against homosexuality or transgenderism, which, hey, you can say in a way they're more progressive than most other countries in the world. I mean, they are trying to hang on to some form of sanity, and really makes you wonder, guys, really makes you wonder what the rest of us are doing while we're over here castrating our children, turning them into sexually confused deviants, telling girls they can be boys, boys they can be girls, telling men they should act more feminine and women need to act more masculine, and you don't need no man, while we're corrupting and poisoning the minds of our children and utterly decapitating ourselves in every single way, to the point where we're going to look up one day very soon and the United States is no longer going to be the head bitch in charge. We're going to be a little cucked nation full of gay freaks who are screaming about abortion and non-binary transgenderism, and Africa might be looking a little better at that point. I don't know. What do you guys think? Again, like I said, some of this language goes a little further than I would like to see, but again, I support their right to be sovereign. Now, you might ask, what does our administration think about Ugandans' rights as a country? Well, I'll tell you what they have to say. Let's listen to this bitch and John Kirby, who is the head of the Pentagon, and let's see what they have to say about this. Now, mind you, this is a separate country that has nothing to do with us making their own laws. So we should really have no position on this, right? Well, of course we do, because we're America.
We have grave concerns with the passage of the Anti-Homosexuality Act, AHA, by the Parliament of Uganda yesterday, and increasing violence targeting LGBTQI plus persons. If the AHA is signed into law and enacted, it would impinge upon universal human rights, jeopardize progress in the fight against HIV/AIDS, deter tourism and invest in Uganda, and damage Uganda's international reputation. The bill is one of the most extreme anti-LGBTQI plus laws in the world. Human rights are universal. No one should
be... Do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear that? Excuse me, shut the hell up, please. I'm trying to pause you. It's your stupid ass. Did y'all hear that, Uganda? It's going to damage your international reputation. Ooh, I'm sure they're shaking in their boots.
Attacked, imprisoned, or killed simply because of who they are or whom they love.
This is the Parliament passing it. It still has some process to go here. We're certainly watching this real closely, and we would have to take a look at whether or not there might be repercussions that we would have to take, perhaps in an economic way, should this law actually get.
Okay, do y'all hear that? Okay, America, hello, we have problems here. You remember us, guys? Your citizens that pay for you to do what you do up there. Y'all are going to have to be monitoring a law that was passed by a sovereign nation on a different continent to see if we will be enforcing any repercussions onto them for conducting their government as they see fit. What kind of audacity does that take? What kind of nerve does this little freak, the head of the Pentagon, mind you, have the nerve to come up here and say this? We are ridiculous. We are absolutely ridiculous. And it's like, I still consider myself to be patriotic somewhat, but it's like our government is just utterly gone. Like, there's no redeeming qualities left to these people. It's sickening, honestly. The fact that we're not the world police. We don't need to enforce our viewpoints onto everyone else. They are allowed to have their own opinions. Okay, and it's not up to us to say what is morally right for them and their lives, which we have no business interfering in. Okay? I'm sorry, but what do you guys think of this? Because it's disgusting.
Passed and enacted. And that would be really unfortunate because so much of the economic assistance that we provide. Let's move on to the last
story. I can't even listen to this little cuckster anymore. I don't know what the deal with this delay is, but it's really pissing me off. Hopefully it doesn't reflect in the video playback. So let's get into this last thing. Candace Owens, guys, this will be the last issue, and I have this listed in neither the good nor the bad category. I want to know what you guys think after we go over this story. Do y'all think what Candace said was good or bad, and why? I would love to know, because I have, I have an opinion on this, but let's get into it together and I'll let you guys know at the end. So let's first off start with what Candace said.
And this one is just a fun topic because I saw this. I don't know why this is a targeted ad on my Facebook. I want to say this. I swear there's a Facebook conspiracy against me. They intentionally send me ads that are going to make me angry. It makes entirely no sense. But this ad came up and I just went, really? Are we really doing this? Is this what we needed? Take a look at this. Ready? So it is a Skims campaign, and it is a woman that is in a bra and underwear. Skims is the undergarment brand that is owned by Kim Kardashian. She's in a bra and underwear, and she's in a wheelchair.
Just take a look at it, guys, okay? Take a look, okay?
In a wheelchair, and it says Skims, made for everybody, available now. Really? That's all I'm going to say is really. I don't really understand how far we're going to take this inclusivity thing. I really don't get it. I don't know. And if I'm wrong, again, educate me. Today, I just want to be educated in the comments. If people that are in wheelchairs were thinking as they were looking around, like, you know what really upsets me? That I've never seen a bra and underwear advertised with a girl in a wheelchair. Why did they do this? I don't know. I don't know why this needed to be done. I'm just getting tired of this all inclusivity thing. It seems ridiculous. I mean, we're going to be on crutches and be like, well, how come we don't have a girl?
So that is pretty much the basis of her point. It had people enraged on social media, guys, and so I just want to know what y'all think about that. Was that offensive to y'all? What do y'all think, honestly? Because in a way, I guess, like, I can see some people's points. Let's get into those before I give y'all my full opinion. Let's get into the girl who modeled it. Let me see if she'll be able to have sound. Video has no sound. So she came up on here and basically responded to Candace Owens, and she was saying what an evil meanie she was for speaking on this and having an opinion on something that was on social media. So the point of social media, obviously, as we all know, is to get the opinions of others and to participate in a dialogue. And then this other little guy in a wheelchair came up in here, Rolling Ray, who is quite the character on Instagram. He was also offended, and he said, honestly, your comment isn't giving what's supposed to be gave. When someone does an ad or post for an ad, it's to bring in customers. Okay, did you not know that, Candace? To make people they're targeting feel comfortable enough to buy what it is being advertised. When you have a group of people like myself who sometimes say to ourselves, I don't think I can wear or do that because I haven't seen others like me do it yet, or maybe it's just not made for me. But when they start to include someone in a wheelchair, it's basically to show that yes, you can and feel comfortable while doing so. So you mean to tell me, sir, that you, while sitting in your wheelchair, you don't wear panties? You don't wear drawers? What is wrong with you people? I mean, it's just like outrage for the sake of fucking outrage. You cannot like what Candace said. You can even think that it was mean, rude, or uncalled for, which I feel like, yeah, it was kind of just uncalled for, whatever. You can find so many different other examples of this inclusivity narrative that they try to push on us in a million other different ad campaigns or propaganda on our TV screens. So why, like, choose this one particular thing? But I mean, it does look ridiculous. We all saw the ad. I mean, who wants to see a wheelchair, a girl half naked in a, I mean, it's just like visually and aesthetically not pleasing. And that is the point, though. We should know this by now. They want to present us with ugly aesthetics. That's why we have fat models. That's why we have these ugly, women with armpit hair and hairy legs and gay twink men modeling things for us now. And this is just what we're being presented with. So this is another level to that. So honestly, my opinion on this is, could she have could she have saved this take? Yes. I don't feel like it was necessary. Am I offended by it? Not on any level whatsoever. And I think she has a point in a lot of ways. I think that I understand what she was trying to say, and I agree with it to a certain extent. But to me, it was just like something, girl, you could have found any other example of these identity and inclusivity politics that you just, why this? I don't know. You knew you were going to upset the little roly rolls, like they can't walk, okay, Candace? Let them have something. Let them have the bras, because they can't obviously determine while they're sitting in their wheelchairs whether or not they can wear bra and panties. They just have no idea until they see another person with it on, and then they think, oh my God, I can wear that. Wow. I mean, just let them have it, girl. Just let them have it. Jesus. Can we get it together, guys? So what do y'all think about all of these stories? It was quite a lot today. So it was a bit of a roller coaster ride. Not the one that I had initially expected, but it was one no less. So you guys let me know what y'all think about all these stories in the comments down below. And please like the video if you liked it. Comments, subscribe. If you want to donate, that would make my whole entire life. It's all going to be down below in the description box. So do it if you want. If not, no worries. And I will see you guys here next time. And until then, y'all have a great night. Bye.
I just tell the truth. And telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.